Hey guys, it's me, Matt Kuhn, with Total Engagement, which is a short, daily wrestling podcast available on all your podcast platforms, whether we're talking about news of the day, hot takes, instant reaction, retro clips, or even crime and wrestling. It's got a little something for every wrestling fan. It's Total Engagement, daily, powered by Wrestlezone.
Daily.
What a wild episode of Raw. We got Rusev swearing on live television. Lana is wearing a cocktail dress to divorce court. 3 amazing matches. Some things we didn't like, some things we did. It's your Raw post show with Wrestlezone.com. From St. Louis, Missouri, it was a wild episode of Monday Night Raw that ended with a pretty crazy ending. You can't say it wasn't crazy. You can't say it wasn't nuts, as we had divorce court with Jerry Lawler, Rusev, and Lana. I'm Kevin Kellam. Once again, Robert DeFelice joining us here. Robert, what a wild ending. This was just nuts. This was absolutely crazy.
This Bob Lashley is just poisoning the mind of Lana. What is happening here, Kevin? You know, this poor man was hit in the junk twice, and he didn't even have his daily blue chew. I mean, for God's sake, the man wasn't even ready.
He wasn't even ready. Other people didn't love this ending. John Blaine texting in saying the Rusev and Lana Lashley ending was cringeworthy. Whereas David Ekman says that was the best of Raw. Kemper Cloud saying the ending of Raw was garbage. Other people on Twitter were not fond of it. You and I thought this was going to suck when I heard they were teasing us. And then kind of when I saw, and we'll touch on the other there was some great stuff on Raw tonight, but we'll talk about this ending because that's what we're fresh coming off of just minutes ago. This is a wild storyline. This is really testy attitude era stuff. They had Lana up there saying that, first off, she showed up to divorce court dressed like she was going to like she's going to Miami South Beach Club. All right. She did not show up like she was dressed to go to court. And poor Rusev out there with this mustache looking like a divorced dad who hasn't shaved in a couple of days.
Somebody got word that this dude became an American citizen like a month ago. And they were like, we are making you the ultimate American dream coming to America foreigner. Because Rusev has just been like this just average guy whose poor wife is cheating on him with that evil Bob Lashley.
That evil Bob Lashley. It was just nuts. They talked a lot about sex. They had words like impregnation in this, and that Rusev knew her cycle more than he did. It was just insane. And then she called him a sex addict. And then he said, no, I didn't follow your cycle. I never forced you to have a baby. I love you. And she goes, that isn't the point. You cheated on me. He's like, who told you that? Bobby Lashley did. And then Rusev just loses it. Rusev just, I don't know. He had to go off script. Or at least they told him, go out there and swear. We're going to bleep it. Because then he just says, look, Bobby Lashley's talking shit. He just started blurting it out. And that worked because it looked and felt like it was completely off of the script. It looked wild. James Ross, I enjoyed the ending. Made Rusev a bigger babyface, even though it kicked in the ball. So there's a lot of mixed opinions on this. No one has a real quiet opinion here. Rahul, right? He loves Raw so much. Raw is in his name. He said there was a horrible spot though. He didn't like it.
Listen, I was fully inclined to think this is the worst. This is going to be the worst thing I've ever seen. Why are they ending Raw with this? But you got to give them this, guys. It was entertaining. Like, it in so bad it's good kind of way.
Yes. You know what this reminds me of?
good.
This will drive people crazy. This reminds me of Woken Matt Hardy.
In a way, yeah.
It reminds me of Woken Matt Hardy, where if you saw it the first time, you're like, what the hell is this, dude? Come on, you know? But the people that perform it so well that you are just on board suddenly. And I'm not saying they turned a switch and now this is the coolest angle in the WWE. I'm just saying, for whatever this was a week ago, it is night and day more entertaining than it was a week ago.
And realistically, if your wife was berating you and saying, and you're just a sex addict, you want to be all the time, and by the way, and you cheated on me on top of that, and would you not just go, this guy's just talking shit? Why are you believing this guy over your husband? What are you doing?
I think the fact that he swore, it was one of the best uses of a swear that I've heard on WWE television. You know they love this one because they know they can get away with it. Is bitch. They love saying bitch. Bitch is like a bigger chair spot than a chair is. Like,
yeah.
Bitch. Like, and especially when the women say it, they always hold down that B and crack it like a whip. Bitch. But then him saying like, oh, you just heard the crowd go, whoa, he said shit. The crowd was into this. The crowd got into this. And you can't deny that. The crowd was responding when it's, hey, there were some things that AEW did last week where I was like, I don't get the psychology of it, but the crowd's loving it, so it can't be that bad, right? Crowd in St. Louis on board. They were on board for this.
If it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander. You can't always have everything be a negative towards WWE. This was fun. This was entertaining. Who did Rusev cheat with? Benjamin, I think you got to tune into next week's episode to find out. Maybe
you'll have to see next week. Who else was he ruining his relationship with?
Maybe this is where we get the reintroduction of Hot Summer Rae.
I was with the Summer Rays. He always has to add some weird off-color translation to the name.
And what's with Lana? Like, Lana is B-level indie film actress bad, where she's just talking in a regular talking in a regular Valley Girl accent, and she says Rusev, and it's like, whoa, you're Russian again. Where'd that come from?
What happened here? You became Russian when you get to say his name, but then when you talk the rest of the sentence, you're just CJ from Vancouver, Canada. It's like, come on now, you got to pick one here.
It's clear Rusev wasn't Russian, huh, Kevin?
You're ridiculous here. Other people not feeling it here. David Ekman saying that Lana looked prego. I'd seen the small belly.
Okay. I'm seeing a lot about Lana might be pregnant. I mean, why not? It's a good way to keep her on TV, keep her out of physicality.
This is how they take the Maria Kanellis, Mike Kanellis storyline, right? They can just take and run with it.
They literally just took the same parts, different people.
Same. You're gross. You are gross, Rob.
I did that. Kevin, get your line out of the gutter. Get your line out of the gutter.
You know what you're doing right now? You're talking shit. That should be his new catchphrase. You're talking shit, Rusev Crush. Rusev respect himself as a person. Rusev love.
I love the cheesy, like, almost glow level acting here, where he takes the ring off and holds it up to the crowd, and they just went, yeah, he got the ring off.
This man's mouth. I'm going to shove it in his mouth. Well, the thing is, the whole storyline has made Rusev look like a fool, right? He looks like a fool, and they've made a fool of him. All right, they've made a cuckold of him. All right, I'll say that word.
Yeah,
all right.
Apparently, Monday nights are for cucking, Kevin.
Leave that for your Google search history there, you freaks and geeks that became freaks. But the thing is, you got to see Rusev fire up and beat up this guy. Now they cut him off the end, and she hit him with the kendo stick, and he didn't know. And
he did not sell that shit at all.
He didn't know. I don't think he knew. And also, she didn't really crack him really hard. You know what I mean? Because he didn't know. He's all pumped up. He's filled with a broken heart of rage, dude.
Yeah.
You know? Come on, man.
You ever been there, Kevin? You ever been there?
Dude, I've been, dude. I've been.
You don't feel candlestick when you're feeling heartbreak.
Absolutely. I go down to the docks. I give people a raw stick, and I say, "Hey, my lady broke my heart. I put it in my back so I can feel some different pain."
Oh, God.
Yeah. All right. It's pretty ridiculous here. Let's get into let's get into the good and the bad of Raw. We're going to break up into two different things. And then from that, we'll be able to find out what our rating for this week's show is. Okay. So let's talk the good first, right? The good stuff. What did you like on this week's Raw? There was a lot of great wrestling matches this week. I enjoyed Drew MacIntyre versus Ricochet with the Hulkster and the Nature Boy on ringside. Man, Hulkster really knew how to get himself close to the camera so you could hear him whenever he was rooting on Ricochet. But those guys had some incredible physicality. And out of nowhere, when you thought the match was going to end and Ricochet was going to hit his finisher off the top rope, he rolled out of it into a boom RKO that looked like his head was about to explode, but it did not. Great match. Enjoyed that. I also enjoyed Rollins versus Rowan in a Falls Count Anywhere match. Not the best one ever. Rollins pinned him with a forklift, which was weird and awkward.
No, let's talk about the beauty of the continuity of you got this guy who was once Bray Wyatt's like weird sheep mask son of sorts, and you got Roman Reigns' brother in the Shield, and Rowan tried to kill Roman with a forklift for some reason. We still don't know, may never know, but Rollins got his revenge. An eye for an eye, a forklift for a forklift. I think I appreciate that.
Oh, line of the night, dude. We're on all cylinders here. And there was plenty of other good wrestling on the show as well. The 24/7 title was goofy. We got to see Buddy Murphy and R-Truth in the ring for a little bit. I wasn't feeling the back and forth exchange on the microphone, and I didn't mind the interference because it actually turned into something where you see something silly, but they run with it just far enough, literally ran around the ring for like a full minute. It felt like where they were just all chasing each other. It was like you could just hear the Benny Hill music in the back of your head. And it was just I was like, if they did this for 5 minutes, I would have been entertained. If they did this for 5 minutes where they're just chasing each other around the ring and it was just pure physical comedy and Buddy Murphy's in the ring like, what? You ran back in the ring? Boom! Big old knee to the face. You get pinned like a goofball. It was simple and it was easy and I liked it. I also like AJ Styles teasing the new Raw superstar Humberto Carrillo, who, if you told me 2 weeks ago when he got drafted to Raw that he would get this much TV time, I would have been, no way. No, he's not getting that much TV time. He had a strong match with AJ Styles, the OC at ringside. He got beat up, cost him, and he tapped out to that calf killer. But it looks like the Street Profits came to save the day for him. I enjoyed that. I was surprised that Kevin Owens didn't get that. Not too much continuity there. We didn't get any Kevin Owens this week.
I am of the full belief that they're not going with Kevin for this week because Humberto is in the Battle Royal at Crown Jewel.
Keep the focus on him.
Kevin doesn't want to go to Saudi Arabia. They're respecting that, so they're just keeping him off TV for this week. And then I think we'll see some of Kevin Owens next week.
Also, other highlights from Raw that I enjoyed as well. Kairi Sane and Becky Lynch had a really, really good opener. The show opened with Paige, who for a time was managing the Kabuki Warriors. She hasn't been on TV with them in a while. She brings them out to the ring. They keep dropping the microphone. She's like, what's going on here? She turns to Asuka. Boom. She gets misted. All right, she's out of there. She sold it perfectly. It's the most physical thing she can do with her injury in her neck. They aren't going to let her take any bumps. So this is a way to get her out of the picture and to put more heat on them. Leads into Becky Lynch in a match. Now, Becky won, and everyone says, oh, you didn't keep the heat on them. Why would you do that? Come on. This is Becky Lynch. She's the biggest single star. They're a tag team. They can take the pinfall. And by the way, Kairi Sane looked great in this match. She is a convincing heel. She's a mean person. All right. She's a tiny little mean person who does tiny mean things that look like they hurt and sting. All right. And she did that. And also I'm convinced that the Kabuki Warriors are no longer good girls. They are bad girls. They are bad girls that smoke cigarettes in the girls' locker room. All right. And they talk stuff. They talk mean stuff. And if there was a girls' high school, Kabuki Warriors would have a burn book. All right. And they would write mean things about people in a language that they can't read because they're the only two girls at the WWE high school that speak Japanese, and they're calling other people fat or something like that.
Yeah, I think that's actually pretty much sums up the Kabuki Warriors heel turn. I like the slow burn with Becky because they're not going to Saudi Arabia either. They have no real reason to rush a singles feud for her. And I think that this kind of results in maybe Becky and Charlotte get a tag title run. It's clear that they're going with the Kabuki Warriors as the big threat right now.
Mm-hmm. Another fun thing I love is a proud Chicago White Sox fan was the Chicago Cubs getting whooped by the Viking Raiders. This was the goofiest use of jobber wrestlers I've ever seen in a while. Two guys in St. Louis, where the Chicago Cubs are not very liked. They're baseball rivals of the St. Louis Cardinals, and neither team is even in the World Series. They had the Viking Raiders just beating up two guys dressed like the Cubs. I thought it was fun. It was simple. It was gaga. If Chikara did it, everyone would call it genius. If an independent wrestling group called it, they would call it genius. If WWE does it, they call it, oh, this is dumb, you're pandering. It was fun. It was fun pandering, fun wrestling. They got a reaction. Crowd lost their minds. What's the problem?
Yeah, I'm finding out, and we talked a little bit about the Wednesday night stuff earlier today with Lavelle. I think with the amount of good wrestling that occurs right now, I'm really gravitating towards the goofball sports entertainment stuff as just a breath of fresh air, because I know everybody can work, because everybody is a great worker, if not, top caliber. But I enjoy seeing people who can entertain.
Mm-hmm. Overall, a lot of great wrestling. I enjoy, like I said, Drew MacIntyre and Richochet have very special chemistry. I don't think that should be regarded here. Someone texted in and said that made Drew look weak, though. It didn't make Drew look weak. He didn't get pinned. He took a bunch of different moves and he didn't get pinned. And he got in Hulk Hogan's face. He got in a legendary wrestler's face and taunted him. He did not look weak.
I don't think Drew MacIntyre could look weak in any funhouse mirror. Have you seen Drew MacIntyre? This dude is chiseled. He never looks weak.
Chiseled, dude. All right. He could walk into your house and tell your mom that your mom has to leave your dad, and your mom would do it. Okay, your mom would do it.
He's more convincing. He's a more convincing Bob Lashley than Bob Lashley.
Dude, I think you're right. If they did this with Drew,
I think Rusev would veto it because he might not get his wife back.
A year from now, when Bobby is still running with Lana, they're going to do that. She's going to cheat on him again. She's going to cheat. And go with Drew MacIntyre.
You see, well, what do we keep going back to? Because it was entertaining. You see what I mean? It was entertaining stuff.
All right. So, what was your favorite part of Raw?
It was definitely the closer. It was definitely the closer.
Okay. All right. You enjoy the closing segment. Now let's get into the bad. There was some bad. The pacing. I liked the divorce court. I thought it was a wild segment. We didn't think it would be the best thing of the night. I thought they could have ended with Rollins and Rowan. I think they could have ended with Rollins and Rowan as a match to close out the night. And I also think there was a lack of Firefly Funhouse elements here. You could have done something with Bray Wyatt to really, drive that needle up. You're not going to have TV before Crown Jewel on Thursday. So I thought maybe if you had something from Bray Wyatt here, that would have been good. So no Bray Wyatt. I know he's a SmackDown guy, but they did some, they shot out, they played highlights of him on SmackDown or whatever, but you could have done something, especially with a Falls Count Anywhere match where it's out of the ring. You could have done something there. I thought that was lacking. I would have liked that in the final part of the show. Carolina, what's her name? We don't know. She came out. She was the second manager, if you will, to Sin Cara. She is a brand new superstar for WWE from NXT. She has been in the company less than 3 months. Has already been called up to Raw, which is kind of a daunting thing to do. And they put her in a pink. She had a white and yellow gear. She had a pink mask on, so it looked immediately like, okay, they told her to put a mask on today. Like that mask got there today, and someone put that mask together today. That's what it looks like. And the graphics were weird because some people were calling her Catalina, some people were calling it Carolina. It was very unclear. And the match was fine, but Andrade won again. So I don't know where this is going. If you're not going to give Sin Cara a win, and some people say 50-50 booking, what have you.
Well, maybe they'll get to the part where Catalina or Carolina is just too much for Zelina Vega, and that's when finally Sin Cara can get a win. I'm just glad the character is being featured. Mm-hmm. Sin Cara, regardless of who's under the mask, has been with that company for a very long time, not really being featured. So I'm just happy he's being featured.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Tell us what you guys think. What was the bad stuff on Raw for you? If you're live streaming this right now, sound off, get your comments on screen. What did you not like about Raw? What really bothered you? Did the ending drive you crazy? Was it the worst end ever? Like people always, I think, overreacting. That's my take. But your take is important, too. Everyone has
If you think that was the worst ending ever, I invite you to watch the episode of Brawl where Vince McMahon's limo blew up. Because, yeah.
Well, it wasn't boring. Can't say that, right?
Yes.
It wasn't boring. It was far from boring here. So as we kind of roll on here, so what did you what did you not like on Raw? What were you thumbing down?
I would agree with you in regards to Bray Wyatt. I get that they want to stick to the established brand divisions, but then you shouldn't have booked a championship match that crosses these brand divisions. Mm-hmm. But I understand that you're just, trying to make good for the Hell in a Cell thing. I don't know when we're going to get to talk about Crown Jewel, but I am a firm believer that Bray Wyatt's winning this thing.
Do you think he's taking the title?
I think he's taking the title, and I think Velasquez is taking the title to Raw.
That'd be crazy. That would be really crazy. That'd be really, really crazy if they did that. Other people saying things they didn't like. Benjamin A. Jones wasn't a fan of Natty and Charlotte Flair. They had a tag team match against the Iconic. First time they've been on Raw. That was a fine match. It wasn't great. It wasn't bad.
It seems like a holding pattern. It seems like they don't know where they're going with Charlotte. They seem to want Natty to be in the tag division. Mm-hmm. But I think sooner or later you're going to see Charlotte and Becky with those beautiful white and gold women's tag titles.
Mm-hmm. Iconics are good as a tag team, but I mean, if you're not going to have them in the title picture, then what are you going to do? You have to do some comedy thing with them anyway. Overall, though, I mean, with a lot of mixed parts, most of those parts lean on the good side, lean on the thumbs up side for this week's Raw. A lot of goofiness, but a hot crowd in St. Louis, great wrestling town. I think that added a lot to the show. I think it added a lot to that final segment, too. I wonder what the reaction to that segment would have been in a different city. But give us your rating for this week's Raw. Out of 10, what do you give it? Robert, I'm going to go to you first. I know where I rate Raw this week. What do you rate Raw out of 10?
6.5.
I'm going to go a 7. I'm not just upping you. I'm not just trying to upstage you. But I have 7.
You just upping me. You just think that you're going to get 0.5 on me. I see your game, Mr. Chicago.
Slow down, bro. Slow down, bro.
What did you call me?
Bro?
Okay.
Summon him. Summon Vince Brosso.
Yeah,
Summon him. It is Halloween. We have pulled a seance to prove from him the worst.
I don't understand you. You gotta just up me. You gotta just go 5 points up, Mr. Enjoy Wrestling. You always gotta be so friggin' positive all the time, Kevin. I don't get it. It's a 6.5. That's perfectly acceptable. It's a passable grade. I don't get you. You just gotta be Mr. Positivity all the friggin' time. But while I'm here, let me just say, bro. Lana, smoking friggin' hot.
Smoking friggin' hot.
They got this thing perfectly. Lashley, Heyman, I used to give him a lot of guff, but Heyman's a New York guy, and he knows how to book. I love it.
How would you book the ending of Raw? Did you like the ending of Raw?
Now, all right.
Vince Brosso, everyone knows you from WCW, WWE. You created the Attitude Era. You put it on a poll. It became famous. What would you do, bro?
The only thing I didn't like was that the kendo stick, it came out of nowhere. Where did it come from, bro? Was Steve Blackman in the crowd? Did he hand her the kendo stick? I mean, what happened? What happened? Was she hiding it in her dress? Explain where the kendo stick came from. And another thing, they had Rusev take off the wedding band. I would have made Lashley swallow that thing. And then next week we do a GTV. We do a GTV segment where he's pooping the thing out. He's pooping the thing out. Okay, Okay, Lashley is gonna poop out Rusev's wedding band, and it's gonna do phenomenal numbers.
Story progression, because
because that's what it is, bro. It's about the characters. I mean, good Lord, it's about the characters, bro. You're sitting there laughing while we're here, Crown Jewel. I love the idea of Cain Velasquez and Brock Lesnar. I wanted to do the same thing with Ken Shamrock.
Yeah.
They said no. Look now. Now they want to do my idea from 20 years ago. Can you imagine how friggin' over Ken Shamrock would have been had they listened to me?
Oh man, craziness for sure. Vince Brosso, we send you back into the darkness. Back into the darkness.
What happened?
You summoned the demon, Vince Brosso, the wrestling booking demon, Vince Brosso.
Oh, I got Kevin. You gotta help me control that. You can't just summon it.
All right, so that'll wrap it up. If you're with us on the podcast side, thank you for being so patient. We combined today's Wrestlezone Daily and the Raw post show together as one episode. So what did you think of that? Let us know what you think. Give us a 5-star review over on the Twitter and all that good stuff. And of course, follow WrestleZone.com for more on Twitter. It's WrestleZone.com, all one word. And of course, WrestleZone.com. The number one source for all things wrestling. Thank you guys for joining us as well on YouTube. We're rocking and rolling over on the YouTube, bud. Rocking and rolling.
We're rocking and rolling, strutting and strolling. You know what I mean? We're doing a little Marty Jannetty action.
I don't sound old there when I say rocking and rolling. Hey, who's rocking and rolling? Sorry about that.
Wait, Kevin, out of the two of us, which one is Marty Jannetty?
Oh, dude, you're Marty. Come on
now. My hair says otherwise.
You son of a... we got to get off air and have a private conversation. We have to get air and have a conversation, sir. We have to do that. All right, so if you're with us and you're watching this on demand, you rate Raw in the comments below. Let us know what you thought of it on YouTube, on the podcast, anywhere. Let us know what you think. We want to be on the virtual couch with you in the world of wrestling. All right, you can follow him on Twitter at DeFelice. Follow me at Kev Kellam. And Robert, tell them that thing they got to do, no matter what. Even though we may fight off air here in a second, we may be mad at each other like Rusev and Lana. And I may take off a wedding band that doesn't exist and shove it down your throat through the internet. Tell them what they got to do.
Well, you got to enjoy wrestling, you friggin' mocks.
Fun times, dude. Fun times. I am trying to get out of here. All right. We'll see you guys. Thanks a lot.
We freeze? Yep, we froze.